What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the No Name Podcast. And today, there's been a lot of good football this week. I have to go out here. I have to talk about what's going on, what happened. Overall, I think it was just a great weekend of football, really. I mean, you saw a lot of dominating wins. You saw a couple close games. It was a very entertaining week overall. But first things got to go first. Play of the day. Play of the day was Brian Robinson over his carries. I believe it was 16 and a half. Obviously, it did not hit. I mean, Chicago, yet again, 2 weeks in a row. That first half was just absolutely phenomenal. I mean, they jumped out so far. Justin Fields, 3 first half touchdowns, I believe. It's really hard for a team like the Commanders to play they want to play when you're down so much. I mean, you've seen Sam Howell throw for 57 pass attempts this game, which is absolutely insane just to see, especially for that Commanders offense, because we know how much they like to run the ball. And last year, they were one of the number 2 team for time of possession. So, they definitely like to hold on to the ball, control the tempo of the game, which clearly did not happen yesterday. I mean, it was a disappointing loss for the Commanders overall, because I know it got into a situation where that was a very, very winnable game for the Commanders on their schedule, and their division being as tough as it is. That was definitely a game they are going to wish they got. But I mean, man, it was just Justin Fields came out here and played great in the second half. Obviously, they really slowed down. DJ Moore really bailed him out with that third touchdown of the game. Shout out to DJ Moore, fantasy owners. I know you're loving it if you played him. Excuse me. I mean, 2 weeks in a row, the dude's played absolutely phenomenal. So shout out to DJ Moore. You like to see that. But, I mean, now you get to the situation where you start talking about you hearing Justin Fields trade rumors. I mean, you start hearing about him going to a team that, if somebody sees potential in Justin Fields, maybe throw a third-round pick and trade him to a team that needs a quarterback. A couple teams that I did hear was the Atlanta Falcons, swapping him for Desmond Ridder. Desmond Ridder could still stay. I mean, trade a third-round pick to Atlanta, give them Justin Fields. And I think overall, I heard this from Nick Wright, actually, and I thought this was an actually great idea. I mean, that offense together would just be so explosive, so fast. And the way they run the ball with Bijan and Tyler Algier, it's just that would definitely be a run-heavy offense. And if you had someone like Justin Fields, Desmond Ridder, yes, is definitely a mobile quarterback. I mean, you've seen him use his feet a lot. But adding someone like Justin Fields into that offense would just be so explosive. But yes, this is only going to happen if they are 100% tanking for Caleb Williams. I mean, so we will see if a team reaches out. We will see if this idea becomes a reality. But overall, the last 2 weeks, Justin Fields has played phenomenal. Even in last week, I know we kind of sold the game a little bit with that pick 6 he had, or the strip sack, whatever it was, against Denver in the second half. But I do blame a lot of that on the coaching. I mean, they really didn't allow Justin Fields to do what he did in the first half and didn't allow him to repeat, which is kind of the similar thing you saw when they played the Commanders Thursday night. I mean, they just looked like they had no trust in Justin Fields to close the game out. And like I said, DJ Moore bailed him out and, put on for Chicago, definitely. So shout out to them. I mean, got their first win of the season. I mean, could have had one last week, but definitely interesting to see how this team moves going forward. Obviously, the head coach is in the hot seat, so personally, I don't think they will make a trade move, although that would be a good idea. If you 100%, because he is fighting for his job right now. I mean, everyone knows that he is in the hot seat, and there was a lot of people saying he should be fired if they lost that game to the Commanders, starting 0-5. So we will see how that goes on. Obviously, I'm going to stay in the loop. I'm going to keep you guys in the loop. But with that being said, I mean, talk of the weekend. I mean, we put pressure on Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals offense. We put pressure on that coaching staff. Is Joe Burrow 100% healthy? Is he still able to take shots down the field? Is he able to push off that back foot? How is his calf really, and how it's affected his game? And obviously, I've been a big preacher of saying that you should sit Joe Burrow until he is 100% healthy. But I mean, man, listen, you go into week five with you hearing the JAMAR Chase, I'm always open. I know everyone's seen it on Twitter. Everyone's seen this guy, go out there being upset with how his results were. But I mean, man, he finally, they started connecting today. JAMAR Chase put on for Cincinnati, beating us, a scrappy Arizona Cardinals team. I mean, JAMAR Chase, 15 receptions, 192 yards, 3 touchdowns, and you finally seen Joe Burrow, able to use his feet a little bit more, move around the pocket, step into some throws, throw on the run, and I mean, overall, just a great game and a great thing to see for Cincinnati going forward. I mean, you didn't see Joe Burrow take shots downfield, and you could say whatever you want about this Arizona Cardinals defense. They didn't allow Dallas to take any shots downfield, and the Commanders. It was a close game against Commanders week 1. The Giants, they just got unfortunate with that second half comeback. But I mean, for the most part, this Arizona Cardinals defense has not been giving up the big play, and Joe Burrow was able to connect for a couple shots down the field. Obviously, one leading to a 72-yard touchdown to JAMAR Chase. But, I mean, man, these guys are just clicking now. I mean, Joe Burrow, 36 or 46, 317, 3 touchdowns. And the only INT he had was when his receiver fell and then just fell right in the Arizona Cardinals' lap. I mean, so it was an unfortunate, INT, so we're not going to discredit from that. Overall, great game. You like to see how this team is going forward. Is this enough momentum to get them through their rough next couple weeks? They got a tough schedule coming up. So, I mean, this is a great sign for Joe Burrow. It's a great sign for Cincinnati Bengals fans. And, I mean, listen, they went out there, put up 380 total yards. Their defense went out there, forced 3 turnovers, 3 INTs against Josh Dobbs, who hasn't thrown any turnovers all year, and Josh Dobbs has been just playing great game management. Obviously, the Arizona Cardinals are not as talented as most of the teams they've been playing, but they've been keeping up. They've been competitive, and you really, at first, it looked like, Cincinnati was still not there, still not it, but then blowing a 10-point lead early, letting Arizona get up 14-10. But then as soon as half came, I mean, these guys just started lighting up the scoreboard. No T. Higgins, so, you've seen a couple people step up. But, I mean, overall, it's a great step going forward for the Cincinnati Bengals, and definitely who was on the hot seat. I mean, starting 1-4 would have been absolutely terrible. I mean, it definitely would have been like, the season ender if they started 1-4. So now they got to bounce back, and, and after the Ravens loss, I mean, now that division's wide open. I mean, with that loss, this division is now wide open. I mean, the Steelers pick up their 3rd win. They are going to be 3-2. The Ravens going to drop to 3-2. The Browns were on a bye week this week, but they lost week 4 with DTR, obviously, but still, they did still get slammed. Lamar Jackson had himself a field day. But, I mean, overall, great stuff. I mean, just great football. And like I said, great things you like to see from Joe Burrow and this offense going forward. I mean, man, it's just great to see him finally connecting with his weapons, finally start looking like the old Joe Burrow. I mean, like I said, it was against the Arizona Cardinals, a scrappy team, but nothing we see as a threat. So hopefully we will see how this goes on the next week and how this, catching fire like this week can roll on in the next week and the rest of the season. Is it the end of the Bill Belichick era in New England? I mean, listen, what you've been hearing. You've seen how their season has gone this year. I mean, yes, Mac Jones was a Pro Bowl QB just 3 years ago, and he led his team to the playoffs. I mean, but ever since then, Mac Jones has just not looked himself. I mean, the first 3 weeks, I gave him his credit. He wasn't turning the ball over. He was, making good plays, making good reads. They just weren't able to get it done. They were in a lot of those games. Against Philadelphia was really the only game where Mac Jones had turnovers, but again, not all of them were his fault. Okay, they were in a lot of those early games, but I mean, the last 2 weeks have just been absolutely historically terrible for Bill Belichick and this New England's, team. I mean, listen. Losing to the Saints, what was the final score? They lost to the Saints, which is the worst at-home loss in Bill Belichick's career. I mean, it's just not something you want to see. And the year prior was the worst defeat Bill Belichick has ever had in his career, getting absolutely skunked by the Dallas Cowboys last week. I mean, it was absolutely terrible. 2 defensive touchdowns for the Dallas Cowboys defense. I mean, Deron Bland with one. I believe he actually had both, if I'm being correct, but I'm not too sure, so don't quote me on that. All right, but listen, I mean, this is not something you're used to seeing of Bill Belichick. I mean, this has always been a team that you could always consider going to, be a tough team to beat, and they're always going to compete, even if they're not necessarily making the playoffs. They're going to be a scrappy team. They're going to be a well-disciplined team, and right now, all of that is just not true right now. I mean, the last 2 weeks have just been, like I said, historically terrible. Their offense is not helping. I mean, Mac Jones got pulled for the second straight week to put in Zappy and to finish the game, and it's just not something you like to see. I mean, and now you have Bill Belichick saying, quote unquote, we need to hit a reset. You know, you're week 5, you're losing games, and you have to hit a reset. And when you hear someone like Bill Belichick saying he needs to hit a reset week 5, I mean, it's just crazy to see. And yes, on an interview, he did say he has done it before, but I don't think there's ever been a situation like this through 5 weeks where they've looked this bad, and he's genuinely, you know, they've had some stunts throughout the season in the Tom Brady days and before that with the Drew Bledsoe days, but never ever a stretch like this, and especially early, digging themselves in a big hole. If they would have to play nearly flawless to get into that playoff contention, you know, and so that's just not something I really see. But I mean, I've heard a lot of talks about what this could mean for Bill Belichick's career, his time in New England. I mean, what's going on? There's a couple places, there's a couple coaching opportunities that could come up within, you know, next season, depending on how things play out. I mean, Chicago, Matt Eberflus. I can't even pronounce his name. I'm sorry, I butchered that. But I mean, Chicago Bears head coach. He is not, you know, he's not doing good. I mean, yes, he saved himself for another week beating the Commanders this past Thursday, but overall, we don't know how guaranteed his spot is to be a head coach next year. And then you have, I mean, Las Vegas. I mean, my Las Vegas Raiders. We got to end up getting a win today, Monday Night Football against the Packers, but if we end up not performing to how we should be playing, especially with the talent we have, as I mean, we've seen it. Josh Jacobs went from being the number 1 rusher in the NFL to barely averaging 3.5 yards per carry, which is just not something you want to see. So clearly there's something wrong. He's made some questionable clock management decisions, questionable decisions against the Steelers, not going for it on 4th and 4 when you're on, you know, the opponent's 20. Putting us in bad situations, bad play calling to close out games. So I mean, there's definitely 2 spots where you could possibly see Bill Belichick make a move. I mean, maybe he retires. You know, that's always a possibility for coaches like this that was this dominant for this long, and they're just saying, you know, my way of playing football is just not it anymore. I mean, we all know it was a dominating career for Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. They were at the top of the NFL for 20 years just about. I mean, yeah, and another coaching opportunity that can pop up. I mean, listen, in Denver, Sean Payton, they just lost to the Jets the other day. Their only win on the season is against the Chicago Bears, okay? I mean, Russell Wilson has looked better than what he did last year. He still has not looked perfect. I still have not seen these guys play a full game. That Denver defense, I mean, has looked good every week except for against the Miami Dolphins, which was a historical offensive day for Tua in that offense. I mean, we all know it. I mean, they got their morale sucked out of them. They did not want to compete. I mean, halfway through the game, it was over. You know, this whole defense was, you seen Patrick Surtain getting cooked because there was no reason for them, to be in that game in that type of situation. It's just a morale beater. But, I mean, they showed up to play against the New York, and they still fall short. I mean, it's just not something you like to see. And, listen, we don't know who's going to get moved, whether it's Sean Payton or Russell Wilson, who's going to get moved, who's going to be in the hot seat. You hear talks about both players getting moved. Sean Payton and Russell Wilson both getting moved, the head coach and the quarterback. And when your head coach and the quarterback are not on the same page and they're not playing together and they're not meshing well, this is the results you're going to be getting. 1-4, I mean, is not a good start. But again, let's just say they move on for Sean Payton after a year. Let's just say this, goes south real quick. Boom. They see an opportunity to bring in Bill Belichick. And what I see in Bill Belichick for that Denver team, one, you get an MVP caliber QB who you could work around. All right. We know he's not an offensive guy, but still, you still have those weapons. You got Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, Noah Fant. You got all these guys, Javonte Williams, hopefully when he gets healthy. All right. So you have the weapons. And then defensively, that defense is just deep. It's legit. They just traded Randy Gregory. So they did lose some pieces there, but I mean, overall, they're just a great team. You have a young top 3 corner in Patrick Surtain. I mean, when he's playing his best, some people say he's the best cornerback in football. So you put him around that type of defensive talent who we've seen already. We've seen this defense perform and be an absolute nuisance to offenses in the NFL. And if you put a great mind like Bill Belichick out there to go play defense with a team like that, I mean, it could be a scary sight. Obviously, again, we don't know if that offense is going to get it together even with Bill Belichick. But I mean, I know one thing for sure, that defense would be absolute nightmare on Sundays. And it's just, so, there's a couple opportunities in the air right now. Like, let's just all imagine Bill Belichick leaving New England. It's just not something you ever would have thought of happening. I mean, you definitely would have thought Bill Belichick would have got his, farewell tour in New England, unlike what Tom Brady got. Obviously, we know they forced him out of there, and then he went on to win another Super Bowl. But, I mean, man, this New England Patriots team is just so down right now. I don't really know what direction they have going forward. Clearly, Mac Jones is not the answer. I mean, I'm always very optimistic. I like to see these guys succeed, especially players who are, have a couple rough stretches, a couple rough years, and then they finally get back to where they were before. I mean, because obviously we've seen Mac Jones at his best. He was a Pro Bowl QB. So, I mean, there is potential in this team, but clearly they have just not put it together. So, I mean, there is a lot of people to be questioning right now. Mac Jones is just not the answer. I mean, he's just not feeling comfortable in the pocket, not reading defenses, not making the right reads, not going through his progressions, and it's just decision making. Like, when he does go through his progressions, he's not hitting the right people. He's throwing bad passes, and it's just not. It's not resulting in good offense. That's not how you run a good offense. I mean, and now it's getting to the point where you got Zappy, the backup. We've seen him some flashes last year when he got a chance earlier in the game. I mean, you put him in two bad situations, two big blowouts. It's kind of like, why am I even in here? Why put me in now? You could have put me in. It was 21-0, 28-0, and we could have seen what I could have done. But, I mean, listen, do they go to Zappy? Do they go out here and say, listen, we got nothing out to lose. We're already one-win team, and we don't know where we're going. But, I mean, it's just not something you want to see. This is not something we're familiar to seeing with New England. I mean, there's a lot on Roger Kraft's plate definitely this season and this offseason coming up. So it's definitely interesting to see how everything plays out. Again, because this New England defense is too talented to just see them get blown out every week. I mean, clearly they are just not what we're used to. And so it's very disappointing to see because, I mean, we all love New England. We all love Tom Brady. We all respected what he built in New England. And so to see the New England Patriots go this and play this poorly is just not something you want to see. Sunday Night Football. What is there really to talk about? We all seen the score. We all seen these guys get absolutely slammed on primetime TV. You hear Jerry Jones talking about telling his team to take a bow after a win against the New York Giants, okay, blowing them out. You see this guy saying to take a bow against the New England Patriots. You hear this guy saying Super Bowl or bust for his team, setting such high expectations. Then on the other end, you have Micah Parsons going in and week out, calling out players, saying he's coming, he's going to be that guy all year. He's coming for you. He says he's coming for you, Brock Purdy. He's coming for all these guys. He's calling out their names. He's talking on his podcast saying unleash the lion. He needs to be fed. He's talking. That's all they was doing Sunday, was talking. These guys came out here and absolutely disappointed Sunday Night Football again. And you can say whatever you want about my Las Vegas Raiders. We've been blown out one time this year against the Buffalo Bills. All right, so you can say, yeah, the Raiders suck. Blah, 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 blah. We never once before this season came on or last year ever had Super Bowl expectations. We never had our owner go into this game saying, yo, go take a bow after you beat the New York Giants by 50. Nobody said that. Nobody ever said that. So when you put these type of pressure on yourself as a team, as an organization, as a head coach, listen, you put a bounty on your head, and the San Francisco 49ers did not talk on microphones or on podcasts or on news radio shows, whatever. They came out there and they busted their ass. They embarrassed the Dallas Cowboys on national television, okay? And listen, the one time you need everyone this whole entire year, this is my biggest issue. This whole entire year, everyone said, Dak Prescott's top 5. Dak Prescott's top 5. Dak Prescott's top 5. And if you don't know football, if you don't know he's top 5. Listen, not only did he lose to the Arizona Cardinals, he threw 3 picks this game. Okay, 3 picks where it finally got to the point where they said, Dak Prescott, you know what? Throw the ball on us. We're only going to send 4. Break our team apart. This whole year, you said our offense is this, our offense is that. We are going to do this. We're going to do that. Can't wait till we play them. Can't wait till we play the Niners. Can't wait till we play the Eagles. And the one time we need Dak Prescott, he said he's been thinking about this game since last year. He said every time someone talks about it, and the only thing he remembers from last year is throwing more picks. Like, man, bro. I see people on Twitter going, yo, Dak, throw ice. I should suit up. I should go get me a free pick the way this is going. Dak Prescott's INTs weren't even close. This guy finally was forced to make plays with his arm, and they said, Dak Prescott, go tear this defense up. And he got absolutely bodied. Absolutely bodied. None of these picks were even close. He got absolutely embarrassed on national television. And for those guys to say he was top 4, top 5 through the first 3 weeks, the dude was 15th in passing yards. He was 3rd in completion percentage because all he did was throw little mesh concept routes. He wasn't taking any shots downfield. They haven't been doing this. This defense has been scoring defensively for Dallas. I mean, they got 2 touchdowns against New England the week before. They're the worst red zone offense in the game. And you want to come out here and talk all this talk and then get absolutely slammed. Absolutely slammed. I mean, listen, everybody was all on the Dak Prescott wave a week ago, and now that they got absolutely bodied and seen him for who he is, all right? The one time Mike McCarthy says, all right, we got to go. 3 INTs. 3 INTs. I mean, 4 turnovers in total, 1 Tony Pollard fumble, which really determined the game very early. But listen, 3 INTs as a QB. Go ahead, because if that was anybody else throwing those 3 INTs, all hell will break loose on Twitter and Instagram and coming to you. Yo, Jimmy G sucks. Yo, Sam House, all these guys. And you were talking all this talk, typing up all this stuff just to get absolutely slammed. And you can say you miss Trayvon Diggs. Sure. But the Dallas Cowboys defense is elite. Okay, that Dallas Cowboys defense is elite and it's deep. Okay, you did not miss a beat with Deron Bland coming in there, 3rd round pick from Florida, for Fresno State, excuse me. Okay, last year he leads the NFL in INT since he's came in to start. Okay, which is an absurd thing to say. Okay, especially coming from one of your backup guys. Okay, he came off the bench his rookie year because people got hurt. He had to step up. Boom. And then you got a guy like Stephon Gilmore who can say whatever you want. You didn't want to go pay for another offensive weapon. You didn't want to go pay Dalton Schultz. You wanted to bring in Stephon Gilmore. That was your decision to make this defense better. And you got torched by the guy who everyone hates, Mr. Irrelevant, Brock Purdy. I mean, listen, this game was not even close. Brock Purdy, listen, if there's any doubts about who's a better quarterback after today, and listen to what I'm saying, we're not talking about talent because talent cannot win you games alone. Okay, it can sometimes bail you out, but being able to break down defenses, make the right reads, have phenomenal footwork, and throw the ball to the right spots and knowing what to do and play situational football is what gets you wins, and that's exactly what Brock Purdy did. I mean, listen to these stats. San Francisco, 422 yards. Dallas, 199 yards on the game. I mean, San Francisco came out here, ran the ball for 171 rushing yards, which is absolutely, just dominating this. I mean, listen, Micah Parsons was talking all that talk on his podcast saying he's going to chase down Brock Purdy, let the lion go loose. I'm a lion. He's talking all this stuff, and he was ineffective this entire game. Trent Williams went out there, started taking his one-on-ones, manhandled that guy. Okay, they tried to start moving him around, didn't work. They tried to start sending him on a blitz, running start at linebacker, didn't work. This San Francisco 49ers offensive line manhandled all these guys, and it was just not even close. It was not pretty, and for a team that all year long was saying, "Oh, we the best team in the league. Eagles look trash. Brock Purdy's overrated." That guy overrated just threw 4 touchdowns on your head. 4 touchdowns on your head. 252 yards, 4 touchdowns on your head. And you can say whatever you want. Okay, you could overrate him and say this and that and this and that and this and that. Say he's got a great team around him. That's what else do you want him to do? What else do you want him to do? Brock Purdy haters, what else do you want him to do? He's going out there. He's making throws. Listen, and a lot of people wanted to talk about Nick Wright in particular. There's a lot of people saying, I want to see Brock Purdy playing the big games because the good defenses, see what he can do. He said, take a tally on how many throws make you go, wow, how many throws make you go, yikes. Okay, only one throw that I see from Brock Purdy yesterday that made me go, yikes. And it was early. A pass to Brandon Ayuk. He threw way behind, was almost picked off. All right. And then after that, he was lights out. Didn't miss a beat. I mean, this dude's pocket presence was great. He was moving. He was sliding. He was, using his feet when he had to, get on the run, start making some throws. And it's just when you have someone like this playing this confident and just playing the game the right way. He's not scared. He's never thrown off his back foot. Yes, for the most part, he's protected. But, I mean, that's what you invest in that offensive line for. That's what you invest in, getting the pieces around your quarterback to do it. Okay? And all these Cowboys fans want to say, we don't got enough players on offense. We don't got enough players here, enough players here. That's your fault. You wanted to go get Stephon Gilmore and pay his contract. You didn't want to go pick up another weapon. You didn't want to re-sign Dalton Schultz, your number one red zone target last year. You didn't want to go get Ezekiel Elliott, who we know inside the 5-yard line is almost automatic. Give him 3 touches, he's almost automatic. Okay, you didn't want to re-sign your 2 best red zone weapons. All right, Tony Pollard is a great back, but he's not Zeke. He's not built for that goal line stuff, and we know that. It's clear. But man, oh man, listen, as embarrassing as it was for Dak, it was just as embarrassing for Mike McCarthy. He looked like a deer in headlights play calling on Sunday night. I mean, it was not pretty. It was not close. I mean, the stats, the box score, whatever, however you watch this game, you could tell this game was not even close. I mean, it was terrible to watch. I thought this game was going to be respectable. I never thought the Dallas Cowboys were going to compete in this game, like seriously compete for a win. I thought San Francisco was going to control the tempo of the offense and of the game and just have their offense doing that San Francisco type thing. That's exactly what they did from the start. And then add on Dak Prescott and Mike McCarthy trying to do all these big things on offense. Because here's the biggest issue with Mike McCarthy, and it's a big issue with a lot of OCs when you get down a little bit, right? You get down in the ball game, you start going away from things that work. Dak Prescott, we know this. You cannot let him all hells break loose and just throw the ball anywhere. You cannot tell him to go break down a defense. You have to simplify it for him. You have to get him good plays, get his receivers open. You know what I'm saying? Throw some wide receiver screens. Throw some screens to the running back. Help out. I mean, you only send 4 most of the game. When they're sending 4 like that, throw a little screen. Get some blockers in front of them. Use that pass rush, that aggressive pass rush from Joey Bosa and these guys, and throw a screen. Throw some underneath stuff. Start making the D-line have to respect. And just like the Arizona Cardinals did to Michael Parsons, they started going right at him. And they did try that early. They tried running right at Joey Bosa, and he just stuffed that anyways. Okay? But overall, this play calling was not great. I mean, there's a lot of blame on Dak Prescott, but a lot of it has to go on Mike McCarthy too. Mike McCarthy did not call a good game, and he proved that on prime time. He was not, in the right. He's not that guy. I mean, you know what I'm saying. He had Aaron Rodgers before, so he could get away with a couple things, but now you see him with a lesser quarterback in Dak Prescott, and you don't see the same type of success. I mean, he's not an offensive genius. I don't really think. He's never really wowed me when he's calling plays. I mean, him having Aaron Rodgers pretty much was the, we're going to call this play, Aaron Rodgers, you do the rest. But Dak Prescott is not Aaron Rodgers, so you have to play to his strong suits, and you did not do that. Telling Dak Prescott, let's take his shots. Let's just let it loose. Look what happened. Absolutely embarrassing loss for the Dallas Cowboys. Hey, we here. It's our year. It's our year. It's our year. And real quick, before I end this video, I got to sum it up. Obviously, I got to talk about a few things. Listen, I really want to talk about some Rookie of the Year candidates. I mean, some players who have just been playing absolutely phenomenal this year. I mean, it's a very short list. Only 4 people I really put in this category, in this conversation. And, we got Bijan Robinson. Obviously, Bijan Robinson speaks for himself. I mean, he's an absolute demon. You could throw him the ball, you could run the ball with him, and he's going to make plays. He's going to make people miss, and he's just great at what he does. I mean, he's 3rd in rushing yards, 6 yards per carry, tied 3rd in the NFL in 20-plus yard runs, very explosive runner, 1st in catches as a running back, and 3rd in receiving yards for a running back, all right, which is just absolutely phenomenal. And when you see what he's done to this Atlanta Falcons offense, him and Tyler Algier pairing up as a 2-punch combo, it's just something very hard to stop, all right? And Desmond Ridder finally grew some wings. I mean, he played phenomenal on Sunday, and if Desmond Ridder can play like this 4 or 5 times out the year, you're looking at a very competitive football team. If he can do this the rest of the way out, listen, that's a very scary football team. We know how that defense is. Jesse Bates has been an absolute phenomenon this year. I mean, he's everywhere, making plays absolutely all across the field. Jesse Bates definitely is one of the best safeties in the game of football right now. The Cincinnati Bengals really wish they could have paid him, but obviously they have too much offensive players to pay. But, I mean, overall, Jesse Bates is absolutely wild right now. And then my second in rookie of the year voting, it's got to be C.J. Stroud. I mean, C.J. Stroud, 3rd in yards, 2-3 on the season. He just had an upsetting loss where he went down and drove for the game-winning touchdown, but his defense, who played phenomenal that game, they played great. They've been playing solid defense. They gave up the game-winning field goal to Desmond Ridder, which it happens. It's part of football. Sometimes players are going to elevate. Desmond Ridder elevated his game of play on Sunday, so you've seen them come out with the victory. But, I mean, man, this guy, 0 INTs in the season. He's 11th in touchdown passes. He's definitely started, scoring more touchdowns after the first 2 weeks. The first 2 weeks, he didn't really score that much. He didn't really throw a lot of touchdowns. Week 1, he had 0, but he just played great football. I mean, he's kept his team in the game for the most part, and let's just give a 9th in passer rating and third in yards per attempt, which is 8 yards per attempt, which is absolutely insane. He's up there in that Tua caliber type number. I mean, which is great to see from a rookie with that much composure and ability to go through progressions and, have good footwork to make and have the arm talent to make throws where they need to be. I mean, it's just absolutely outstanding. I was definitely a CJ Stroud hater going into the season, but he's definitely proven wrong. And a big shout out to OC Bobby Slowick. Again, this dude has just been absolutely lights out. Play calling. He's done everything. He's played to CJ Stroud's strengths. He's making it easy on him. He's making teams respect the run with Dameon Pierce, even though it hasn't been all there. And he draws up good plays. He's starting to get people like Tank Dell and Nico Collins involved. Dalton Schultz finally got in the end zone this week. So this team is just coming together, and it's Will Anderson starting to step up too. I mean, another great defensive piece that they traded up for. I mean, this Texans team can get scary. It can get scary, and with C.J. Stroud playing the way he is, leading the way, I wouldn't be surprised if they go out there and win 8 games. I really wouldn't. Make the playoffs? That's tough. The AFC is just so deep. It's tough. But, I mean, let's just see how it goes. Keep going week by week, and, we'll see how things goes. I mean, Devon Kane, Texas A&M, came out of Texas A&M this year. Just came off ACL injury. I mean, so he missed the first week, I believe. But, I mean, from what I've read is that obviously he's coming off an ACL tear in college. But, I mean, man, this dude has been an absolutely stud. I mean, he's just lightning fast, lightning in a bottle. He's going to break one eventually, and that's exactly what he did these last 2 weeks. I mean, he's on pace for 1,900 total yards in the season and 32 touchdowns, which is not, he's not going to maintain this standard of football, but it's crazy to see those type of numbers and that projection for the season ahead. I mean, it's just crazy to see. It's crazy to see, and you got to tip your hat off to them. He's definitely starting to take over that running back 1 spot over there in Miami over Raheem Mostert. Who's been playing fine, but it's just that Kane is just young, he's fast, he's hungry, he wants to compete, he wants to win. But I mean, mixing him with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and all these a fast, explosive Miami offense, I mean, it just all works well together. He gets a lot of, the box is not as filled as compared to other teams because of the fact that, one, you could throw him a little swing route and he can take the distance, and the fact that you got to account for Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill, 2 of the fastest players in the NFL. I mean, he's just in a great spot to use his speed. He gets a lot of open space opportunities because of the fact they have to play Tyreek Hill truthfully, they have to play Jalen Waddle truthfully, and then overall it's just a good mesh on the season. I mean, this dude's got 309 rushing yards, 11.4 yards per carry in the season, 6 TDs in the season, and it's just absolutely crazy to see. This dude is absolutely playing mind-blowing, and so that's got to be number 3 for Devon Kane. And then Puka Nacua, I got to show him some props. Obviously, we know what he's done. The receiver, 5th-round draft pick out of BYU. He's done phenomenal things. I don't know how high his volume is going to be going forward with Cooper Kupp getting back. I do expect a lot of teams will be paying attention to Cooper Kupp, so he could have some more chances to get one-on-one opportunities. But, I mean, this guy having a 75% catch rate on the season is absolutely phenomenal. I have him 4th in the Rookie of the Year rating tier list and like ratings based on the year. And so, overall, I mean, man, I cannot wait to see what's in store for this kid. This dude is just absolutely great. Doesn't do nothing too spectacular. He gets in and out of his breaks. He catches everything that comes his way for the most part. I mean, he's just a great receiver. And to pair him with someone like Matthew Stafford, and like I said, when Cooper Kupp comes back in, and now you start being able to move Cooper Kupp around, and now they got to start doubling Cooper, and then you get more one-on-one opportunities. It's just great to see from a young guy like that. I mean, you love seeing 5th-round draft picks come out here and just light the NFL up. So overall, I mean, definitely got to be my 4 Rookie of the Year players. And last but not least, let's talk about my Las Vegas Raiders, We got to win tonight versus Green Bay, excuse me. It was not a pretty win, okay? Defensively, we played dominant. We dominated against this Packers offense, who I would say middle tier, like, so let's say decent to mediocre offensively. They play as good as Jordan Love is capable of. I mean, Jordan Love is the key to that offense. If he's playing hot, that offense going to be hot. If he's struggling, they're going to struggle. That's just how it is, and that's just how much they rely on Jordan Love to make plays. But, I mean, listen, our defense went out here. No Nate Hobbs. Okay, we had to elevate 2 practice squad cornerbacks today. Amik Robinson with the game-winning pick. I mean, listen, Amik Robinson, I've always liked him ever since we drafted him. He's just been a little small to really put outside against a lot of these elite wide receivers. He makes plays. He comes down, makes tackles, and he's definitely my player of the game today. I mean, he just for his ability to come down to make tackles was absolutely insane. Him only being 5'8" and coming down here and taking out tight ends was just great to see. It's the effort and the hustle aspect of everything that you really enjoy to see as a football fan, to see your players, undersized players, go out there and just perform and just play football the way it should be played. It's just great to see. But I mean, listen, our answers are not solved, all right? I am happy after one win, obviously. I mean, the more games we win, the less chance we have of getting Caleb Williams. Obviously, that's given, that's known, okay? I mean, listen, I'm all optimistic. I'm all about let's go for the playoffs. Screw anybody else. Let's go for the playoffs. Let's win right now, okay? But obviously we got to do that more than 1 week, okay? We got to do that consistently. We got to consistently play like this. And although our defense played solid, Jimmy G was questionable. I mean, there was a lot of throws he made where I was really scared it was going to go pick 6 crib call, and so there was a lot of tough throws that he made. They weren't even tough throws. If it was Josh Allen making that throw, I'd be like, all right, because he's got the arm strength to get it in there, fit it into tight windows. But when it's Jimmy G going back there and trying to launch that, I mean, he just doesn't really do a good job of going through progression sometimes and trusting other players. He just likes to force it to the hot hand and, just stare stuff down, and it's not really, you know what I'm saying? It's not something you like to see, but we got away with it today, so hopefully he can improve. 1 turnover today, and we finally got a win. Isn't that crazy, right? The turnover ratio goes in our favor. We only have one turnover, and it's just great to see. Josh Jacobs got himself in the end zone again. Great things to see. Devontae Adams didn't do great, but you finally got out there, and when you was making plays, you was getting doubled pretty much the whole game. But listen, my biggest thing about this game today is we started off the drive getting Michael Mayer involved. We got Jacoby Myers involved. We got Amir Abdullah involved. Josh Jacobs out the backfield. Michael Mayer, Austin Hooper, Hunter Renfrow. Finally, my guy finally got him one to start the game off. And that's my biggest positive take from this game is the fact that we were spreading the ball everywhere to start the first half. And time of possession went in our favor, so we really controlled the tempo of this game, controlled the clock for the most part. I mean, it was a very slow game statistically. I mean, nobody put up crazy numbers, but the fact that we just controlled the clock so much, I mean, we gave them the ball back at right before half with 2 minutes left, 2:30 left, and it was just, we took our time. We took a 9-minute drive and took pretty much the entire second quarter to go score, which is something you like to see. That's the way I think we have to win. But obviously we have to be able to run the ball effectively, which got better today. Still wasn't great, but we got better. You saw some bursts. You saw Josh Jacobs making some plays. Definitely, I'm hoping we use this as a confidence booster pushing forward. I mean, the next 5-game stretch we have, every team only has 1 win except for the Miami Dolphins. And so hopefully 4 wins coming up, 4-1 the next 5 games maybe. I'm praying for the best. I'm the most optimistic dude possible. Okay, but obviously we got to go out and do it. We got to go out there and take care of business. But with that being said, everybody say Raiders. Nah, I'm just playing. Hey, but we lit though. We got that win. It feels good to finally get a win. And yeah, man. I mean, let me know if you enjoyed. I appreciate everyone who's been watching. It's showing support. My TikTok just got 11.8K views, which is lit. I mean, I'm happy right now. I'm feeling myself a little bit. Obviously, like I said, Amik Robinson, game winner. Yeah, we lit. Let me know what y'all think. Dallas Cowboy fans, when y'all see this on TikTok, YouTube short, whatever, nobody likes you. All right, I'm out.